Hey everybody, it is Jynnette The Oracle. Welcome to Oracle Talks. Feels like it's been so long, but I think it's only been like 2 weeks since I've been on. Anyway, hope that everybody is doing well. Happy June. Welcome back to this sacred space. So if you are new, welcome to Innocent Alchemy, which is the platform that I am CEO and founder of. I do private coaching as well as training in small group programs for actually two separate topics. So one is the Lightworker Incubator, which is a small group coaching program to support your reclamation of soul sovereignty. It helps to develop and accelerate your ascension process, deepen your relationship with your ancestors, provide you with more spiritual tools and techniques for protection, defense, etc., and much more. And then the other program I have is called Sovereign, which is a small group program for entrepreneurs who are looking to do business differently in a way that is both financially profitable, but also sustainable, in a way that is flexible for whatever your needs are, life circumstances, etc., and how to navigate that in a way that is non-exploitative, if you will. So registration for those programs are currently open right now, and they are available to apply for through summer solstice. So if you're interested, check out the description below for links to both of those. And of course, you get a chance to chat with me during that application process so that you can ask any questions you may have, and we can really determine if this is, whichever program you're looking at is going to be the best program for you, okay? So that is that. And I also provide private coaching sessions, whether you just want a short, astrology session or you want to go a little bit deeper. You have options. So again, check the link in the bio or not the bio, but in the description below for the sessions link, and book something when you are ready. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. Long time no see. Your girl is here. Hopefully you all got a chance to read the two blogs that I just posted. I also put it on the community tab here on YouTube. But they were related to bifurcation. I'm using that language because it's part of, the lexicon and the New Age community as a way to have context. But if, bifurcation isn't a word for you, if you're thinking about, splitting of timelines and all of that kind of stuff, like this is the general vibe or the context. So the first one I wrote was about the closing of portals in the bifurcation of Earth. And that was specifically related to the portals that had been opened to the infernal kingdom, to what I refer to as the red Earth. Those have been shut down. So there's information about that in that blog. And then the second blog was on the galactic bifurcation, which was related to that splitting of timeline or, ascending energy for our Milky Way galaxy. So both of those you can find, again, in the description below. I linked them specifically. If you have not gotten a chance to read them, please do read them, because today's message is actually specifically going to be related to that, or it's like a jumping off point. So with this bifurcation, both here at an Earth level, but also and fundamentally beginning at the galactic level, we are in a new space, right? So the title for today's video is Brave New World. We are in a new world, and we've been in a space of transition, but something definitely changed and shifted with this bifurcation, where, as I mentioned in that first blog, it's like a leveling of the playing field, and a removal of external interference to us essentially getting our shit together, right? So it's not to say that, any of this is going to be easy, but a lot of, again, that interference that has been in place has been removed. And now we're at a position where, again, we have a level playing field. So in this space for this particular message, this is the full moon in Sagittarius message, we are in this new world. So the intention for these messages is to provide insight and guidance into what each of us, and this will be going by signs, needs to do in order to build in this new space, in order to expand in this new space. Now, in particular, you may have noticed or been able to feel in these last couple of weeks that in some way, shape, or form, at least I would say actually the last like month or so, you've gotten to a stable place compared to maybe where you might have been 6 to 9 months ago. And it's not that necessarily everything is great or perfect, and maybe it is for you, but you know, there's a lot of changes for everyone that's been going on. So, but regardless, it should feel for most of you who are engaging with this work and have been engaging with it for a while, that there's a little bit more stability or clarity that has come through. You don't feel on as much of a shaky ground. Things are clearer. Yes, there may still be issues or things that you're having to address, but it's like you essentially have your head above water, okay? And you can tell that you're in a position now to build and to grow and to expand and to strategize for what's next. So that's what this energy is. Yes, there are definitely still a lot of tough things going on, you know, politically and just across the board in various areas. So, you know, this is not to say that those considerations aren't still there. They are. But again, there should in general be a sense of, okay, I can handle this, or I'm in a better space now to think about what I'm going to do next. Now that I've kind of gotten past this initial shock, volatility, instability that the external world, as well as what's going on in my personal life, has been stirring up within me. Okay. So let me know if that resonates, if you do actually feel or perceive that within yourself. If you've noticed a little bit of a stabilization, not necessarily perfection, but a stabilization to where now you do feel like you can, you know, expand. With that being said, also, as you come in, say hello. Let us know where you're joining from, what you might be sipping on, eating, nibbling on, whatever. I'm joining y'all from sunny California, hence the bright light right now. I am in LA. I am still safe because, yes, we do have the military out here acting the fool. It is not, at least right now, close to me. So, again, I'm safe, but yeah, it's it is something that I am watching and paying attention to. So for any of the folks who are also out here in LA, prayers to you and your safety. Please be safe out there if you are out protesting. Make sure you have a crew that you trust, you have supplies, you got resources, and that you're good, okay? And then also prayers out, blessings, healing, and resources to folks who are dealing with the aftermath of recent storms that have gone through, I believe, the Midwest, and some parts of the East Coast, tornadoes and things. So yes, prayers and blessings to you. Let me get these timestamps though. Hold on. Okay. Alrighty. So hope everybody's doing well. Let's get started with a brief breathing exercise, and then I'm going to get the cards for the 12 signs. Okay. Hello to folks coming in. Welcome, 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 welcome. All right, let's go ahead and start. So you can close your eyes or keep them open, whichever you prefer. If they are open, pick a spot on the floor about 4 to 6 feet in front of you to focus on. And we're going to do a breathing exercise where we inhale for 5 counts, hold our breath for 5 counts, exhale for 5 counts, and then hold our breath again for 5 counts. And we will do that for 4 rounds, okay? So follow along to the best of your ability. If you, need to shorten that or lengthen it, do so as you need. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Return to your regular breathing. Call in your higher self, your inner divinity, to merge with your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, and your unconscious mind. To bring all aspects of your mind into alignment with it. To bring your heart into alignment with your higher self, your inner divinity. To bring your personal will into alignment. And to bring your physical body into alignment. Asking your inner divinity to remove any and all obstacles to this alignment, so that there may be harmony throughout all of your multidimensional soul. And in this space, we call forth our elevated beneficial ancestors, the spirits of the directions, the spirits of the elements, our personal guardian angels and guardian protectors, as well as the archangels of light, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Michael, Archangel Uriel, Archangel Zapkiel, Archangel Haniel, Archangel Chamuel, and Archangel Zadkiel. Asking this spirit team to set and hold the sacred container for energetic protection around each of us individually. We ask our spirit team to remove any and all harmful, negative, malevolent energies, entities, spirits, thought forms, emotions, psychic cords, or attachments from our multidimensional soul. To repel and reverse any spiritual attacks. And we ask our spirit team to please purify, sanctify, and divinitize our multidimensional soul, raising our vibration to the heavenly realms and the celestial realms. All right, and take 3 deep breaths on your own. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right, so I'm going to get out the cards. Let me know how that was for you by letting me know in the comments. And we're doing all signs. For ease, I would say, you could look at your sun sign if you want to go deeper and you want to think about, this building the new in this brave new world. Then look at the sign that starts each of the 12 houses of your natal chart. Okay. It might take a second to get these out, so if you want to read the blogs while I'm doing this, am I taking those? No. So far, I have Aries and Taurus out. Aries, you have the 2 of Scrolls, and then Taurus, you have this, which is the 2 worlds, and Taurus, you have the Scribe. I'm using the Akashic Tarot Oracle deck. Gemini just came out. You got the 3 of Keys, the chess game. Of course, I'll show all these cards when I get to you. All right, Cancer, you got 6 of Forces, the Waterfall. Leo, you have 7 of Keys, the Ascent. And Virgo, you have 2 of Keys, the Treasure. So we have 2 2s here. Libra, you have the Divine Physician. Interesting. Scorpio, you have the Buddha Prepares. These are like those 2 are like the major arcana, just like the Scribe. Sagittarius, you got the 3 of Roses, Loving Elements. Definitely recommend everybody should pay attention to the Sagittarius message when that comes to it, because it is the full moon of Sag. Capricorn, you got Archangel Michael. Interesting. Aquarius, you got the Lookout. Let's try this again. Last card for Pisces. Oh, if you don't mind, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and please like the video. It helps us circulate it within the YouTube ecosystem. Thank you so much. Also, making comments on the video helps as well. Okay, of course, Pisces got the Akashic field. All right, so let's go ahead and start. All right, Aries, you have the Two of Scrolls, the Two Worlds. So this card actually talks about being conflicted between having a quote unquote secular life and a quote unquote spiritual life, like doing one path or the other. And this talks about, like, you know, in past lives, you might have leaned towards one or the other. Like if you went on the predominantly spiritual path, you missed out on taking care of and meeting the human needs. Or if you went on a fully like secular path, you completely ignored your spiritual development. And so this one is this card talks about the challenge, if you will, or the point of this particular life is to, or this particular incarnation is to essentially walk the middle path, right? The householder yogi path, for those of you who are also yogis. So that's in general what this card is talking about. So in this context of what, you know, you need to do in order to, or what's suggested, what you should do in order to support the building of the new world, now that you are truly in this new space, is to not be focused on trying to do one or the other, but to find that alchemical path that includes both. Okay, so I guess it's really going to depend on what your starting point is when you're coming towards this. Like if you are more, if the most recent past life was more quote unquote secular in nature, and you are going towards that path of or wanting to like incorporate the spiritual, you know, you'd be wanting to sanctify or make sacred the mundane. Okay, and to also bring the sacred into, you know, your goals, your visions, your dreams, etc. And vice versa. If it's more on the, if your starting point coming into this incarnation is a little bit more on the spiritual side, then you're being asked to lean more into the things that give you pleasure personally, that fulfill you personally, rather than that which necessarily would be in service to others. Again, not in the either or place, but it's like, it's really important for you to serve yourself in addition to others. So yeah, it's really going to depend. So that is your message, Aries. All right. Taurus. Taurus, you have the Scribe. I believe this one is about study, but let me just actually check the book. This is again one of the quote unquote major arcana in this deck. Yeah, the card indicates a great upsweep in mind and study for you. If there's any subject which you'd like to acquaint yourself with or reacquaint yourself with, it's time to do so. It's not just for the sake of study, although that's always a good thing, but this period of higher mind and higher learning is nothing less than to change your life or even change the world opportunity. So as we're talking about Brave New World and being in this new place after the bifurcation of Earth and the galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, this is important. Whatever is coming up in terms of study may be really key here. All right, so yeah, if you are not already engaged in some learning or some study, whether that is, you know, secondary education, university or something, or even something like, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, my group programs like the Lightworker Incubator or Sovereign, where it's like training programs over several months where you're learning key skills and developing in a certain kind of way. Like these things are where you actually need to put your focus. This is very much structured learning, and it's more advanced learning than, you taking a free, little workshop or reading one book. This actually requires there being a mentor or teacher or guide in that process, and ideally in the group setting so that you have that communal learning experience rather than an isolated engagement with learning. Okay, so yeah, that's your message, Taurus. Short and sweet, I love it. Gemini, you've got the 3 of Keys, the chess game. So this card specifically is about looking out for yourself, because it's saying that there are people, in this game engaged in this process who are looking out for themselves. Oh wait, is that this card or is it the other? That might be the 4 of Roses. Let me double check. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. But I believe it's similar to this other card. Okay. That I was thinking about. Let me read the part of this. The people represented by these chess pieces are not usually those you meet for enjoyable pastimes. Basically, these are not your friends, Gemini. This is a card of political and social conflict. I mean, look at where we are. You may be in store for difficult interactions in group settings, such as board of directors, corporate hierarchies, management disruptions, or conflicted family situations. Obviously, I could also see politics, right? Those sides seem to be clearly divided. Many of the people involved are really out for themselves. And that's what I remember from this card, because this is similar to, I believe, the 4 of Roses in this deck. And that card is called, I believe, The Views of the Ego. And that card is specifically saying, like, hey, the folks around you are out for themselves. But this is saying, like, you're just going to be in a place of political or social conflict. And while on the surface it might look like, oh, it's just ideological things, it's like, no, people are really just out for themselves. To continue, it says, deceit is present, and you may not be at all certain about everyone's motives or strategies. It's time for you to take an emotional or even an actual step back. The more you get involved and the stronger you hold your position, the more heated the situation may become. No matter how challenging, try to maintain an inner peace. Don't participate in any battles or allegiances. I'm going to say that part again. Don't participate in any battles or allegiances. But don't let yourself be deceived either. Look at everything coolly and unemotionally. The people around you are serving their own agendas. Try to detach, be objective, and treat everyone involved from a deeper source of wisdom without being misled. There may come a time for you to leave or distance yourself from the situation, but because of circumstances, it may not be here yet. For now, let yourself be a knowing observer and watch. I also low-key feel like that's a partial Uranus and Gemini message, because Uranus is gonna be transitioning into Gemini. So this is interesting though, Gemini. This is what you need to do in order to build. I get the sense that whatever this external conflict is, again, very much could be political, obviously. But these other things coming up, stuff at work, family situations, relationship stuff, whatever. Don't get involved. Don't try to side with folks who are, like, I'm on your side, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is saying don't even engage. Be a cool observer. Do what absolutely has to be done, but beyond that, take a step back, because your focus, you need to be paying attention to this deceit that's present so that you don't get got. But also, when you're being tied up with this hoopla, you don't have the energy, focus, and more importantly, the creativity to be able to invest in the building of the new world and that which is there for you. So yeah. Okay, that was a word. Ooh, all right, Cancer. Six of Forces. I'm gonna read this one because this has to do with just like, overflow, abundance of power that is there. I don't remember what it's saying for you to do with this. So this card reminds you of your incredible personal power and supports you in opening up to the force within. Know that you are a dynamo in the universe. You have the ability to shape any situation in a way that honors you and moves your life forward. It is a time of deep thought and even deeper emotions, as well as an expansion of psychic energy. Use this time to act on these and tap your power that is ever flowing. Like the waterfall, your personal energy never stops. Your life force is never ending. It springs from your eternal past and roars into your limitless future, extending into the farthest reaches of the universe. So if this is coming up, this is a reminder to you about your nature, Cancer. Okay. Maybe you need to have the reminder that you have all of the power and energy that you need. Like it says in here, to shape any situation in a way that honors you and moves your life forward, right? Remember, we don't make things happen. We can influence and like shift things in a certain way, but you have this waterfall, massive energy available to do so. So if this is coming up, that means that in some way, shape, or form, it hasn't been done or hasn't been considered, or you maybe have forgotten it or what have you. Understandable, because again, if the past 6 to 8 to 9 months have been quite unstable, if not longer, because it's been interesting here in the world. This is telling you to get back on your game, to know who you are. And it's not to force things to happen, but it's again, a remembrance and shifting and putting your energy towards those things that you desire. Okay. And it's not even something that you have to try hard with, because it's just there. Like, you don't have to try with the waterfall. I think what is key here is the this message about it's a time of deep thought. Which probably means that there needs to be meditation to help with that, or just quiet contemplation, which is different than worrying and anxiety. Okay. Leo. Leo. All right. So you have the 7 of Keys, the Ascent. So this talks about working hard to reach a goal. And at this point, this person has actually reached the goal and has done what is necessary to achieve that. So this looks like, in order, again, in this context of what you need to do in order to build this new world, this new space that we're in now that the bifurcation has occurred, is you need to find a goal. Yeah, this card shows that with great effort and determination, you can apply yourself to your goals for assured success. There may be risk involved, obviously, but you can reach the top. And this isn't a luck, and it's not external influences, but your own hard work and application that bring the achievement you seek. So keep your efforts strong. So either you need to determine the goal or goals to go after that specifically stretch you outside of your comfort zone. Or if you do already know what that goal or goals are, it's time to put in that work. And that work is not about getting affirmation or validation or even everybody on the outside to co-sign. Okay. You come right after Cancer, and Cancer just got this card about the Six of Forces, like you're already tapped into the power. The phrase hard work, you need to do the hard work to achieve that goal, is there, which tells me that the interfering kind of obstacles, spiritually interfering kind of obstacles, are not in the way. It's the more regular type of obstacles that would normally show up on this journey. Okay. Because a lot of, not all, but a lot of the, as I mentioned before, some of these interfering energies from the infernal kingdom have been locked out. So we have more of a level playing field. So it's what should rightfully be showing up in terms of, you know, tough times and obstacles in pursuit of the goal or goals that you have, rather than that, as well as like spiritual warfare, right? So that part of the spiritual warfare aspect is gone. So really your hard work is going to get you there. I received this message because this is something that I've been sitting with as well too, just figuring out what the goal or goals are. So I received this because I will work hard towards something, but the lack of clarity on the what is what I've been sitting with. So hopefully that helps you, Leo. Welcome to folks coming in. Say hello. Let us know where you're joining from, what you might be sipping on, if anything. All right, Virgo. Your message is Two of Keys, the Treasure. So this is a tough card because this talks about like basically someone coming in and ransacking the place. It's a burglary. See, Green Sage, welcome. Hello from Durham, North Carolina. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so this is, yeah, it's a tough card, but the other aspect of the card is the fact that there is this treasure that was not stolen. That's the slide that you see in the box here. And so the message of the card is like, okay, yeah, you just unfortunately got ransacked, your place got ransacked, but the thing that actually was the most important was preserved. It was not taken. So it's important to be grateful and pay attention to that and rebuild from that. This is kind of the vibe of the Five of Cups. I say kind of though, because Five of Cups is not, someone stealing from you. That's usually just kind of like a breakup or like a grief, it's a loss of relationship or, death or something like that. This is very different kind of energy, but it's, sorry, so someone was really loud outside. But yeah, it's kind of that thing of the Five of Cups where the message tends to be, 3 cups of spill, but at least you still have 2 cups, and it's important to pay attention to the 2 cups and rebuild from there. Similar kind of vibe with this. So Virgo, yes, something may have burned down. It might have been a lot of things that have burned down, whether it's relationships, job prospects, opportunities, promotions, creative projects, health stuff, whatever. Something may have burned down. There may have been something that has caused grief. Okay. But the treasure has not been lost. The things that can be adapted to or replaced with something of similar value or even better, that has been subject to change, if you will. But that which is enduring, the treasure, that which is for you and not for anybody else, whatever that thing or things is or are, that has not been touched. Okay, so that's what has to be paid attention to. And yes, you can decide based off of what has been taken or not taken, what you want to rebuild with. Decide, if you even need to replenish those things that have been lost, if you want to build in a different kind of way, like those considerations always come up. But I think in particular, because of the Virgo mind, and I know Virgo mind because I have a lot of Virgo in my chart, there can be an obsession with like the transformation of something that's not going well, right? Just to make it better, of the thing that has been lost or broken, and it's like the focus on here, right? Like that's going to be easy for you. But I believe that the message of this specifically is saying like, yes, consider that, yes, do that, but put that second on the list, and first of the list be on what was not touched, what survived being ransacked. What do I want to do with that first? And that is a creative space. That is an expansive space. That is first on the list. And then secondarily, deal with this. And I know that is hard for Virgo because this here in this scene is a mess. And we don't want to think about the new until we clean up the mess, right? That you don't need to clean up the mess other than just assessing what has been lost. This is going to give you, this treasure here is going to give you the inspiration that you seek for expansion. And it's also going to give you the fuel, motivation, and be that magnetism for the good, for the more. Libra, you have, interestingly enough, the Divine Physician. Now, this is a card about healing, but let me get more because I actually don't remember what this message is talking about. This card indicates that you're moving into a time of magnificent healing on many levels. So there's someone who can be a great healer for you, as well as a teacher who shares healing gifts that you can pass on to others. You may also find yourself being called to help others at this time, whether that's through word, thoughts, or other things. Know that the light of healing shines around you and through you. Such a radiant joy can bring well-being to all. Interesting. Let me read this sentence again. I didn't fully read it, but my eyes coming back to it. Remember that word and thought, belief and feeling are key components in healing the self and in teaching others to heal. They are important tools in the divine physician's medical bag, so make sure they are a part of yours too. Know that the light of healing shines around you and through you. Such a radiant joy can bring well-being to all. So on one hand, Libra, similar to Cancer, I think in this new space, you need to be aware of the fact that you have a healing influence on others. Maybe you've never considered that for yourself. I know that's something I usually tend to associate with the water signs, but this is coming through with you that your presence literally is healing. The words you speak, the beliefs you hold that you share, they impact others. Okay. Libra is Ma'at in the highest, most beneficial, harmonious aspect, right? It's divine law. It brings balance and harmony. So where there is chaos, where there is uncertainty, this brings truth and clarity. And that's deeply healing. And in this new space, in this new world, even though there's still so much, that is happening, and the fallout of conflict, you standing as basically this pillar of light is important. And again, you come right after Virgo. So, Virgo representing that energy of, or this card, I won't say Virgo, but this card's referencing all that has been ransacked. This energy of healing that you just naturally embody and can intentionally influence is really important right now. And you don't have to force yourself to name yourself in a certain way. So if you don't like the term healer, or you're not interested in like going down a particular like healing service path, like that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. This feels more so like just making sure you are showing up fully wherever you are, and showing up from that optimistic, beneficial, harmonious, divine neutrality space that you embody at the highest level, because that's really what's needed. And there's something about that will actually end up making the way for you as it relates to this expansion that you're seeking, in terms of, again, the building of the new world now that we're in this new space. Now, of course, this can mean you receiving healing for yourself. I don't even think it necessarily needs to be an either or. But for wherever that healing is going to look like, there will be somebody available for you, as this card mentions. So if that shows up, lean into it and receive it. Engage with it. Yeah, because similar to who had it? Oh, Taurus, with that scribe energy that was coming through with the higher learning. It may be a situation where you come across somebody who might be a good mentor for you and be able to support your healing process, maybe the building up of your self-belief, etc. So also be open to that as well. Okay. All right, I'll leave it at that. If any Libras have questions, you can also make comments and I'll circle back and go deeper. And Scorpio. Scorpio, you have the Buddha Prepares, card number 13. This is about, well, I mean, you can see the image. You have people waiting for the Buddha to come out of meditation and begin teaching and, you know, give them all of the downloads and everything. But I believe that if I remember correctly, this card is about you taking the time within to get what you need before pouring out to others. Yeah, this card shows a time of inner preparation before action. Before you can reach outside of yourself, you must reach within to find your power, your purpose, and your direction. So this is actually giving me the similar vibes to the Leo card, the 7 of Keys, the Ascent. With Leo, it was specifically like, oh, you know, I was feeling this vibe of find what the goal is to go after. If you don't know it yet, like that's the work. And if you do know it, then put in the hard work. But this feels like you doing what you need to do in order to take action, which usually means quiet time. This feels like you need to, this actually feels more of an emotional card. You need to be ready for what it is that you ask for and what it is that you want. Because you can get it and you know it. And you've gotten it before. But what you want now is, again, it's bigger. The stakes are higher, which means it's scarier. But take the time that you need. And again, this is guidance for what you should do in order to build in this new space. Take your time. There is no rush. Even though other folks might be excited, take your time. And one of the things you might have to start doing, if you don't already do, is not tell people what your desires are, your dreams and your goals are. Like, keep it to yourself. And specifically, because I know you don't necessarily say that to like everybody, but specifically even people that you're really close to, your intimate partnerships and close friends, like to actually not even say it then. And you know you're in the right spot or space, so to speak, when folks are kind of wondering like what you're working on and you're just like, nothing right now, right? Like that's the vibe. That's where it needs to be, so that you are not being inundated with other people's projections and stuff, and you can really get right with yourself. And in some ways make moves in silence. This preparation is also a way of you determining where you really do need help in pursuit of your dreams and your goals. Because at this point, you should know that there are areas where you lack skill. There are areas where you need to be better, etc. Like that assessment is there, and this preparation will help you do that self-assessment objectively. All right. Sagittarius. You have 3 of Roses, loving elementals. Of course, Sagittarius is the star sign right now because we have the full moon in Sagittarius for this message. Three of Roses talks about love and support from the nature kingdoms that are here helping you in your creative process. So this is literally like look into the magic and the joy and the wonder of nature around you that is helping you in, you know, enjoying life and creating and all the things. Like you have that help and support in seemingly unlikely places. I'm actually hearing the phrase build with nature in mind and heart. Build with nature in mind and heart. Build with nature in mind and heart. This is interesting because, you know, you and Gemini very much live in the head. And a lot of times I find with y'all, the creation of goals that involve other people usually mean you are obsessed with trying to convince them to change their minds or to be excited about a particular vision, but really to think the way you think. And this feels like a different approach to building. Because if you're building with nature in mind, that includes both the nature of people, not how you would like them to be, but both the nature of people, but also nature, how it is. And all aspects of it, not just the ones that we conveniently like to look at and ignore other aspects, right? Like, like we love to just think about, you know, birds, bees, cats, wolves, and things like that, but conveniently not like to look at, you know, hyena medicine or black widow medicine. Like it's very, so there's a lot here, right? But this is a good challenge. Wow, don't come for me, thanks. You're welcome. Listen, I get it. I understand. I understand. But yeah, in this new space, if we are going to be aligning with a new world, that means we do actually have to show up differently. And that includes how our approach has been to building previously. Because if what we were doing previously worked or was successful, we would be further along in whatever that is, right? Now, for some stuff, obviously, we may have accomplished certain goals, but we might not have been able to go further because the approach wasn't going to be able to survive. And so there needs to be a shift. Okay, there has to be adaptation. And that's what nature teaches. But often that adaptation is not focused on how we as individuals, as vision holders, vision keepers, actually approach the work, how our belief systems are set up, what actually is changing. And if we are not uncomfortable, if we are not fighting something, if we're not trying to defend something, or excuse me, if we're trying to defend, if we're fighting, if we're trying to keep something in place as we move into the new, that's an indication that there's growth there. Okay. All right, last petty message for Sag, and then I'm gonna move on. But not really petty, because Sagittarius is related to the ninth house, which is higher learning and teaching. And good teachers know if if it's not working with others, it's not their fault. The responsibility is always on the teacher, always on the one presenting the information, the product, the idea, the desire, the goal, project, whatever. It's always on the responsibility of the holder of the thing. It's never the other people. Because there's always going to be folks who are cool, folks who are neutral, and folks who are against. So the job is to be a vision holder and also adapt, right? An indication that there's growth or needs to be growth. I don't quite understand the question. Yes, the question again, Green Sage. What's an indication that there's growth or needs to be growth? Because these messages are just for, well, not just, these messages are about what we need to do to support the building of the new at this point, past this recent spiritual bifurcation. I was trying to understand your language, but I don't fully remember the quote. Oh, well, this is being, you'll be able to go back to the recording to come back. So if it still doesn't make sense when you rewatch this section, just make a comment on the video and I'll circle back and clarify. Because I don't even remember what what I was saying. I was just in the flow. Yeah, I'll just do that. All right, don't want to stay here too long, Capricorn. Let's see. Capricorn, you have Archangel Michael. Okay. Archangel Michael talks about the power of the soul. If I remember correctly, let me just verify. Like actual soul power. Yeah, so when you receive this card, know that your energy reflects Michael's amazing strength. This can be a cycle of increasing power for you. One where you feel your courage growing and you know what action to take next. Trust your convictions, your power, and your resourcefulness. Michael heralds a time of greater courage, force, initiative, and action, so don't delay. So this is a thing of like, and Capricorn can be typical for this. Capricorn, sometimes I won't say they, I'm not gonna go third person. Sometimes y'all will wait for recognition from someone else, usually someone in a position of authority or prestige or what have you. Someone just further along, will say it that way, to give you a yes or give you permission before you allow yourself to go after something and to ask for something. Now, obviously, it's not all Capricorns, but it's a strong personality trait. In particular with earth signs in general, but for me, it's odd that it shows up in Capricorn, but it very much does show up in Capricorn, even though you're a cardinal sign. So it's like you will work your butt off in whatever it is that you are doing. You'll bring excellence to that thing, but you will like grind in that space for a very long time, longer than others would, simply because you won't advocate for yourself sooner in the process. Because in some way, some level, some whatever, like you associate long suffering with work ethic and being good enough. And that's not this energy. This isn't, skipping steps. That's not what this energy is about. This is saying, you know what you want, you put in the work. Okay. Your work ethic is your work ethic, but you need to decide what you want and you need to go after it and you need to speak up for it and have the courage to do so. And it will be scary, right? Because it's a stepping outside of form and going up against, again, this perceived authority or what have you. But that's not confrontation. Speaking your desire, saying what it is that you want is not a fight, right? It doesn't have to get justified. I feel like this is turning into a read for Capricorn. I don't want to do that. Yeah. So this is what you need to address, Caps, in order to build and expand. And hopefully, again, if you are in the soul family, if you've been with me for a while and you come out of whatever life has been this past year, you are better prepared to actually embrace this and say yes. But honestly, if you don't step up and do it and ask for what it is that you want, express it, or have the courage to start something that goes outside of your comfort zone, it's going to be on you. Like there's no external yes. And even if like, in the context of like work, if you want a promotion or whatever, if you say what you want and your manager's like, no, for whatever reason, it's also going to put you in a position where you have to decide based off of the amount of time and work and energy that you've put into that place, if you're going to stay or if you're going to start looking for somewhere else that is going to support your professional growth. And of course, it's not easy, especially in this job market. But even like making that choice and taking the action to do that, if you get a no, is just as important as you speaking up and even asking for a promotion that you feel that you've gotten passed over for. Because if you're feeling some type of way about a promotion, right, you probably have earned it several times over. Why are you not speaking up? This is the energy that is needed. Again, this isn't fight energy. See how big Michael's heart is? It's love. There's children here. There's not even a sword here, right? It's not a fight. It's the qualities of your opposite sign, Cancer. I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table. This is what I need. This is what's important to me. And I'm not going to abandon myself. I'm not going to betray myself. I'm not going to co-sign having less just because someone else doesn't see or doesn't want to see. Okay. I will say that's a good place to be in because it's better to have an internal issue to deal with than an external issue like poor Geminis out there. Let's see. Okay, Aquarius, almost done. You have the Lookout. So this is a tough card as well, just like Gemini had and just like Virgo had. This card, as you can see, there's like a burning ship here. So this is essentially kind of like the Tower card energy in this deck. And You have to figure out where you're going to go to, because whatever that you have been a part of or been standing on it's literally in the process of burning down. Essentially, this means that there's no going back. There's no redoing what was. Let's see, this card says you could experience a sudden fall or loss of your position, but if you're aware, you can make a backup plan that will help you ride through this difficult time a little more easily. This phase may be temporary, but it's important to keep your balance. Your strength will carry you through to a better time to come. So yeah, I think this key thing is essentially this fall or similar to Virgo, that ransacking energy. Whatever that tough circumstance was, again, for most of us, it's already happened, or it's like finishing up now. And now you're just kind of dealing with the consequences. In order to build for the future, to build in this new world, what you have to do is the wisdom that you have to tap into is to look at what led to this, look at the conditions that led to this, and plan for the future, strategize for the future about how you can navigate this the next time this comes around. Because everything moves in cycles. It's not always going to be sunshine and roses. Like, there are going to be hard times, and pretty hard times. But it's like, okay, now that you've experienced some intense loss, essentially this card is saying you're going to rebuild again. You're going to acquire more and require more. But in the process of that, how do you then need to build, conserve, strategize? Now that you understand and know, okay, this is going to show up again. How can what I'm doing and building in this process help me to navigate that next hard time in a more easeful way? Because the next hard time is guaranteed. The I Ching tells us this, right? Nature tells us this. After winter must come spring. After autumn must come winter. Right? So winter is going to come next again. So that's what you have to pay attention to. This is not like, oh, I'm going to go back in and redo the same stuff I did. Like, that is not going to be expansion. And that's not going to be building a new world. You have to show up differently. You have to show up differently. All right, Pisces. Last but certainly not least, you have the Akashic Field, card number one. One of forces, I mean. Akashic Field. So that is what it says it is. It's like the great essence of existence. Let me see what this card says. Let's see. You receiving this card tells you that amazing opportunities abound at this time. So basically, possibilities, all the possibilities exist. You can increase and accelerate the experience by opening the door to the records. Okay, so this card, I was getting this card up mixed up with another card because there is an Akashic Field card in the Major Arcana. But this card is specifically about working with the records, the Akashic records. Yeah, you can explore the records and receive the information you need and the energy that can help. Engage in this pursuit with a conscious focus. Yeah, so this card compared to the Major Arcana card in this deck, but this one specifically is about working with the Akashic records. I do introduce and have us work with the Akashic Records in the Lightworker Incubator. So if you are looking for a container that is going to support your process in that and open you up to tapping into this energy, expanding your spirit team and receiving guidance and all of that, I definitely recommend for you, Pisces, but that's actually what needs to come up. And I think because the Akashic Records specifically have to deal with timelessness and truly being in that space of all possibilities existing, being able to see how things can play out, being able to connect on a spirit level, like it's a really powerful space to be in, and it is a safe and a sacred space. So interestingly enough, this is actually what you need to work with, Pisces. I wonder why that is, though, because you're out of everybody. Oh, maybe like Sagittarius would be included with that because they got the loving elementals, which talks about specifically working with nature spirits as well, or being open to the ways that they are helping. But yeah, it looks like you two are the ones that, oh, well, the healer, the divine physician. Okay. Specific tools that are coming up around that. Interesting enough too, the full moon in Sag is in a loose 3/4 square with the North Node in Pisces right now. The full moon is in Sagittarius at 20 degrees of Sag, and the North Node I think is around like 23, 22 degrees for the square. And again, 3/4 square. 3/4 squares are harvest energy. Okay. Every square is not created equal. So the first quarter square is the harder one because that's like the spring energy. So it's like the seed trying to sprout through the dirt. Like it's a tougher energy. It is one of growth, but it's effort, right? It's that hard work phase. The third quarter square, so the square after the full moon, is the square of the flower and the harvesting of, or it's the fruit and the flower and the harvesting of the fruit. Okay, so it's enjoying the fruits of one's labor, or the fruit of what the effort was at the first quarter square. So on a spiritual level for the Pisces folks, also based off of what just came through just now, you are at a space spiritually in your spiritual ascension process where you're ready for this. Like energetically, vibrationally, you're actually like ready for it and conducive for it. Whereas before, even like 2 to 3 years ago, you still might have been too low in vibration or just dealing with too much stuff to be able to access clearly and to be able to get something out of it. Maybe previously you had tried to access and it was just like, oh, it's not working for me. But like now you're at the place where you can. And again, because these messages are specifically about, this new world we're building post the bifurcation and the closing of those portals to Infernal Kingdom and Red Earth, a lot of that interference is like gone now. So very much so a massive upgrade in vibrational frequency for folks and a clearing of the field, the soul. So yeah, you're definitely ready and available for that, Pisces. But specifically for you, working within the Akashic Records and working with it, excuse me, is what actually should be happening for you. in the process of building what's next. So that's cool. All right, so let me close. So as I said at the beginning, you can definitely look at this for your sun sign, or if you really want to go deep, you can get the messages and apply them to the sign that starts each house in your natal chart. So, say if you have Pisces in the second house, you'd want to take that and apply it to the areas of life associated with the second house, which of course would be the direct money you make, physical possessions, etc. Right? Or you could just listen to your sun sign, whichever you prefer. If you're going to do rising sign, sun, moon, and north node, start with rising sign first, then sun, then moon sign, and then north node sign. If you don't want to listen to all 12, but you want a little bit more than just the sun sign, that's what I recommend. So overall, what I'm getting with this is, for the most part, a lot of this work is internal shifts in terms of how we show up differently, which really means like a shift in belief systems and how, on some level, belief systems. So that's like half of it, but the other half is also going through another ego death, because there still needs to be a deconstruction of the personality that got us to this point, because all aspects of that personality that got us here is actually going to be a hindrance further down the road. So these areas that are coming up where it's specifically related to, again, shifts internally and how you show up or whatever, is in service to that. Okay. Now, in the other situations where it was a handful of things where it was specifically dealing with the environment, whether it's conflict in the environment or nature spirits or whatever, again, something other than self, then that's easier for you, because like you just have the one thing to lean on and address in a way, and can do that. But the internal work is a little bit tougher, because if you've done healing work in the past, doing that ego death process, deconstructing self, allowing yourself to show up and become something new, and being open to that, especially if you've been in the game for a while, is hard. Because you've been a certain way, people know you as a certain way, and it's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to have to reintroduce yourself, but that reintroduction still has to come after that death and reconstruction and adaptation and development of the new. Okay. But again, it's not like everything has to be addressed. Whatever is coming up here is a place where you can focus, that's going to provide you with the greatest amount of progress, because the energy over here at Innocent Alchemy is catalyzation. So it's that which is going to move you faster, further. Okay. Because we lean into strengths, and then anything else that needs to be addressed that will come up afterwards, right? But we lean into strengths first, and weaknesses get dealt with in the process, because we want to move things. And we want to move things because we want physical, material manifestation of a better world for all that is not oppressive. Hello, welcome. I'm actually just finishing up with the messages, but we do have a few more minutes here. I want to be on for about an hour and a half, so I have like 5 more minutes. If there are 5 more minutes max. If there are questions that folks have about these messages, or just questions in general about the bifurcation, or any of the spiritual messages or spiritual questions that are coming up, maybe with ancestry or what have you, you can take this time now to ask those questions. Oh, no worries. It's God willing, technology works. This will be saved on the channel once I end the stream. So give me a few minutes to get the timestamps up when I do end it, and then I'll save that, and then that way you can jump to the signs that you want to jump to. But I do definitely recommend going through the whole first 20 minutes because I talk about the bifurcation as well as lead you through a breathing exercise before we begin, and then we get into the 12 signs. You are welcome. I was so excited. I haven't seen you live in a while. Yes, I know. Life has been lifing for your girl. So I've definitely been, doing my best to find times that worked, as well as I'm also going through this process as well. So even how I show up is still supposed to be showing up differently, and that is still in process, but it is good. I'm still here, and we give thanks for that. As a reminder, again, enrollment registration is open for the group program. So both the Lightworker Incubator and Sovereign. The Lightworker Incubator is that program for training as a Lightworker, reclaiming soul sovereignty, developing deep relationship with ancestors, supporting their elevation, building out your spirit team, and more. And we get into techniques and specifics around energy body and stuff like that. And then Sovereign is that group coaching program for entrepreneurs who want a non-capitalistic, sustaining, but still profitable business to run. So if you're interested, check those out. Again, we'll have a chance to chat during the application process. So you can ask questions and we can see if this is really something that works for you at this time. It either is or it doesn't. To be clear, there is no sale that happens. I don't do those kinds of tactics. That's not the vibe over here. So, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, God willing, I'll still be doing the program for years to come. So you can come back at a later time. But if the call is there, answer the call. And trust and believe, if the call is there, the support will be there for you to be there, especially from the ancestors. Like they pretty much, if the ancestors want you to be there, they will make it clear, and they will make and find a way. Spirit just is amazing. Glad you're still with us. Yes, I'm still here. I mean, I've been here. I haven't been as often on Oracle Talks. Hopefully, though, that will shift for the fall because things are starting to be a little bit more consistent over here on my ends. But, I say that in quotes because, I don't know if we're about to have martial law out here in LA with the military stuff. So it's just like, it's another reason why it's like I have to be open and flexible because, things are interesting. And I think they're going to continue to get interesting politically in this country. So the part of me that likes to have the organization and have the structure that has been here for years, because Intertanakami has been around for 8 years now. So y'all know how I show up. So this is definitely not what I'm used to. So I'm having to learn to be okay with less in terms of how I show up comparatively, in terms of frequency, and just to make sure that there's still quality that's coming through and trusting that that is enough, even though I'd like to be present more, trusting that that's enough. And and we just rewrite the wave in a sustainable way because we do need to be cognizant of external circumstances. So, Anyway, I don't see any questions, so that means y'all are good. If you do have anything else that pops up, like I said, just comment below. I do check the comments and reply to them. I have no problem doing that. So just do that if there are questions. But otherwise, I will see you when I see you. I won't make promises of when that is, but I would like to be back on sooner rather than later. But oh my goodness, the summer solstice is next week. Oh my gosh, time has flown by, y'all. Summer solstice is next week. Oh, it's about to be Cancer season. It's birthday time. All right, yeah, we'll see how things go. But enjoy this. I know I have this written as a full moon in Sagittarius message, but real talk, it is a longer term message. It's not just for the full moon, because it really is tied to that bifurcation message. So again, if you just dropped in, please do check out the bifurcation blogs that I wrote. Yeah. All right, y'all. I'm going to bounce. I hope you are well. If you all are well, if you would like to donate for the time, for the messages, the information is scrolling there on the bottom of the screen, as well as in the description below. That is much appreciated. And if you would like to book a session, the calendar should be open now and available for this week coming. Well, this week, and the first part of next week should start to pop up later on, because I think I have it like a week out. So yeah, so book a session if you would like to, and God willing, I will see you next time. Bye.